There, and welcome to this week's episode of the Homeschool Well podcast. We are in April 2026. It's Jenny and I here today with you,
Hello, welcome.
and our theme for April is finishing the homeschool year faithfully, not perfectly. Listen, Jesus was the only perfect human being. So just get it out of your mind that your homeschool year is going to end perfectly, but you can end it faithfully. And we're here to cheer you on because we know that the April slump is real.
Oh, yes.
And they happen in homeschools. It's real. You're not imagining it. It's when homeschool moms really feel motivation just like drifting away. No, it would be like a strong current of water. Just the motivation is just leaving your whole homeschool culture second by second.
Yeah,
We've
when
been
spring
there.
fever starts to hit and you're just like, okay, we out.
And you like if you take a spring break and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I got to restart now." Like this is painful.
Yeah.
It's a hard time of year for you and for your kids.
Mhm.
And school days can feel excessively longer. Even if you're just a 2-hour homeschool day, right?
Mhm.
Everything gets harder and longer and more frustrating. You're just tired of pushing. You know the end is near. They are tired of doing things for them and for you academically. They just are like, come on, man, it's almost summer, right?
Mhm.
And you're wondering, like, how did this happen? We had such a great rhythm going. What happened in April? Why is everything suddenly a struggle? And should we just stop? Should we just call it like done?
Yeah, for sure.
It just feels like everything is unraveling and you're right at the finish line. Like the light at the end of the tunnel is literally shining in your eyeballs, but you just want to close your eyes, right? And
Mhm.
look away.
Oh, yeah, the April slump is for real. I remember always feeling that way every year in our homeschool. The spring break, the can't we just finish this? I'm ready to give up. Do we actually have to do it anymore? And I think we would start arguing or it would start feeling really frustrating and my kids would start pushing back. It would be
Yeah.
harder and harder to get them to do things. So it doesn't mean your year is falling apart.
No.
Doesn't mean you're failing. We always think, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Am I doing this right? Doesn't mean any of that. It just means you need to make a couple of adjustments maybe to get through what you need to get through. You don't need a full reset, just a little shift. You can still finish this year faithfully. That's the good news. You're not Jesus, so it's not going to be perfect, but you still can finish the year. And we want to share this scripture with you. Galatians 6:9. I feel like we share this almost once a month.
It's a power verse.
It's so good. If you don't know it by heart, we're going to tell it to you over and over until you start to memorize it. But Galatians 6:9 is the homeschool mom mantra. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. And
Amen.
put it into your memory and say it every morning because that's what we need.
Throughout the day, I do feel weary. And just at reminders, my boy is in 12th grade, so I don't do a lot of direct teaching. I don't do any direct teaching. It's
Mhm.
mostly nagging him to get things done. And I know he hates it and I hate it. And then I feel weary, right?
Mhm.
I want to default to this verse.
Mhm.
When the weary comes on, I'm praying that all of us can just think of the next thing, right? Okay, I'm weary in doing this good thing, but in the proper time, we're going to reap a harvest from God if we don't give up. I just need to keep reminding and keep pointing to the to-do list or, moms of littles, do one more read aloud, teach one more math lesson. But we also have some helpful tips that are applicable.
Sorry, I wanted to say before we do the tips that I think we can ask God to show us
Mm,
encouraging little blips here and there so that we
yes,
can see little bits of harvest, even if our kids are
love
7
that.
or 9,
Yes.
or you have the benefit, Kim, of having an older child where you have seen a lot of the harvest after they've graduated and
Yeah.
everything. And so, but sometimes it's hard to see with the ones when you're still in the ditch. But I think we can ask God, like, God, please give me some little bits of harvest and encouragement to help me
Man,
keep going.
that is a great point. And you know what? Even to tell our kids that we need
Mhm.
something to motivate us. I know for
Oh.
me, as soon as you brought that up and said my son, he started working this year
Mhm.
and a lot in springtime here because
Yeah.
it's a busy season. That has been, I feel like, a harvest bringer for me because I'm hearing
Oh,
all of these
good.
great things about him as an employee.
And his work ethic?
Yeah, that's I mean, essentially, that doesn't have anything to do with me educating him in the homeschool realm, but it's the things that he's learned. He's applying them in his job, in being an excellent employee. And so I
Yeah.
have to consider that as a harvest,
Well,
right?
we've talked about that.
So,
Yeah, like,
yeah.
there's things that are more important than academics. Character matters more than academics. And so the fact that you're
Mhm.
hearing feedback that he's an excellent employee. And like you said, I feel like we should pray that they see little bits of it too. And,
Mhm.
when my boy had that job, because he
Yeah.
worked in the same place as your boy,
Yeah,
he was so
that's true.
motivated by the tips he was getting.
Yeah,
And
that's a big
I was
motivator
like,
too for him.
"Woo, that was a
Yeah.
great little harvest." If I work hard, I actually get good tips. So,
That's a great point because that
yes.
is a huge motivator, right? To make
So
cash
we
money
should
tips.
pray
Yeah.
that they can see a harvest too, even if it's
Yeah.
just little bits at a time. But anyway, we just love that verse. So we want to give you some helpful tips on what you can do if you're feeling this burnout at this time of year. These are some things that we've done over the years when we get to this point and we just feel like giving up. Hopefully these can help you. The first one is just try a reset week. If you do take a spring break, come back and change it up a little bit, do something different. Find some ways to make the days shorter. Maybe focus only on some core subjects. You don't need to keep going as heavily as you did in the fall. I always felt like fall was like really heavy academics. Like it was like, oh yeah,
Mm.
everyone's starting school and you're more motivated to kind of get into it and be in the school mode, but by the end of the year that goes downhill. So, I
Yeah.
think changing your days or resetting some things so that you guys can feel that you can do this.
This helpful tip to me seems like a temporary thing in relation
Yeah.
to the things that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. Even if it's just like you said, the week after spring break, it's so hard to reset. So all week you're going to do fun lessons about railroads and
Mhm.
trains or something. You're going to take a field trip to the train. And that's
Mhm.
like, okay, we're going to really get going next week back into the academics, but this week is a fun back to school week type of thing.
Sure. However would make sense for your family. Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, in high school, when it's homecoming week, they have homecoming theme days, things get a little bit less intense, maybe the
Mhm.
week after testing or something like that. So the second one could be more permanent, that you would change your environment of where you teach on a regular basis. Like, let's say every time you do reading time now, you're on the back porch or you have a front courtyard and the kids get to look at insects while you're doing story time, or you don't normally go on the couch. I don't know many homeschoolers who don't, but maybe, instead of doing work at the table all the time, you take it over to the couch with those little lap desks things and they can put their feet up and do their work like that. You could go
Mhm.
to the park. I remember once we had a couple friends. I don't think that you did this with us, Jenny. It was those owl pellet dissections. Did you do that with
Yeah.
us? And we met at the park and we
Mm-mm.
did it together. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
that was great because when you start dissecting an owl pellet, all kinds of stuff flies out of there.
You don't want that in your house anyway.
Yes, yes, it's disgusting. So we did that together at the park, and I think it was every Wednesday science lab day or something like that for the month of April and May, something like that. Oh, you
Mm.
can add a fun cozy corner. Maybe put a little tent up in your
Yeah.
house for the
Make a
last
fort.
couple months. Yeah, yeah, let them have a
Mhm.
fort. Love those things. So just change
Mhm.
your environment a little bit to make it different.
Where we live, I was just thinking today, like this time of year for us in April and March, it becomes so nice outside that we want to be outside like all the time. And if you're up north, maybe you're ready to be outside. And so you're doing stuff on your porch all the time. Or maybe where you live, this is kind of a rainy season right now when all the fronts are going back and forth and the weather's changing a lot. And maybe you need to set up a fort in your living room. And when it's raining, you guys are doing it inside your fort or something. I don't know. You can change it up depending on where you live and make it novel, make it different. It doesn't require a ton of creativity.
Yeah, just ask them and something that you're interested in.
Whatever you do, you can just kinda make it your own and you don't have to be super creative. It doesn't require a lot of brain power.
All right, the third tip is to add some novelty. And here are these ideas with theme days. Maybe one day you're only going to study things that are red. I don't know, all the red books. You're going to learn about red candy and how bad red food dye is for you in science. Or that's a
That's
fun theme
awesome. You're
day,
way more
right?
creative than I am.
I
Yeah.
don't know. There's a red thing sitting in front of me, and so that's
Oh.
literally what I'm saying.
It's the
But
squirrel mentality. That's what it
right.
is.
Any type of theme. Earlier, I said the train week. So even that, like a day that you study trains or something.
Mhm,
Maybe it's only art day. I loved those days when we would do an art
mhm,
study and then we would try to recreate the artist and then write something about it. I don't know, read about their life.
mhm.
Add games in. Oh, good Lord, homeschool families. You know you love you some games, all kinds of tangible. I'm thinking, Monopoly, Scrabble, those type of games, right? We want to stay
Oh,
away from the
yes.
video games. We got enough of that, but
Mhm.
game days, board games, and things like that are super fun. And, one game I brought to my co-op class, I could not believe that none of my kids knew it. It actually made me super sad, is Simon, the
My
original.
goodness.
Right.
Seriously?
Like, yeah, the original like
Wow.
video game. Maybe people
Mhm.
don't know what Simon is. You literally push a button and it makes a sound and it's a color that lights up. Red, blue, yellow, green.
Yeah, the memory game.
Love that. Yeah, the
Mhm.
patterns. So anyway, add a board game day in. We used to love Fun Fridays. Honestly, I did that all year. I did not like,
Us
even when I
too.
was a teacher. When I was a
Yeah.
teacher, I had Fun Friday. I just felt like we got educational stuff done, but it was in a more fun manner, like a
Mhm.
reward thing. Gosh, we've worked all week, da da da. Da. Just adding that theme in if you've never done that, or just continuing it if you do have done it all year. And field trips. Hello.
Mhm.
Springtime is such a great time to have all kinds of learning adventures, even if you're just by yourself in your community for free stuff. I'm talking about one of our big things was walking down to the climbing tree, which is about 2 blocks away on the
Yeah.
trail, and just climbing up the tree and seeing what we can find that day and drawing and writing about it. So it
Just
doesn't have to
getting
be a
out.
yeah, it doesn't have to be a big expense, but just doing something different at a time during the school day when you normally wouldn't do it.
I wanna add something I did that we've talked about before is our Poetry Tuesdays. I got it from an idea from the Brave Writer lady, and I've mentioned it before, but it was such an awesome day. My kids loved it. They looked forward to it. And we would just have a little poetry party with a snack. I mean, the snack was like nothing, maybe a couple cupcakes or some popcorn. And we would just read lots of different poems of all kinds. There were usually some that I wanted to share. I don't know, Robert Louis Stevenson, or I had different kid books, from different
Yeah,
authors. Then I would have my kids pick some too. Like they would read Shel Silverstein or whoever they wanted, like silly ones too. And we would just sit there and read poetry and eat snacks, and they loved it.
I love that.
It was such a win.
Such a win. Little novelty items
Yeah,
in
just
education mean a lot.
low prep, but high reward. So,
Yes, yes. Bust out the stickers. This is where the
mm,
gold stars come in handy.
that's
Uh,
right. That's right. So the next tip we have is to reconnect before correcting. And that is huge. Your relationship with your kids needs to come first. If you find that you're constantly in a power struggle, you got to stop and figure stuff out and reset. What's that phrase? Rules without relationship equals rebellion. And that
mm.
is so true. If you are
Phew.
not connecting with your kids, they don't care what you have to say or what you have to teach them. So just find ways to connect with them before you're hitting the academics hard.
And just know that that might be a lot of your time at this time,
Yeah,
in the
sometimes it
spring.
is.
In the
Right.
spring, you just might be doing a lot of reconnecting and building your relationship before the academics come into play. But
Mhm,
it's okay. It's valuable stuff. So valuable.
mhm.
And the last one is to adjust your expectations,
Yeah.
which this season of burnout in the spring, it just calls for flexibility. And that means that mama, I know I'm such a control freak. I was so bad about this, but you just have to change your expectations Don't get in that mindset of, oh, I'm lowering my expectations and that's horrible. No, you're changing them, you're refining your expectations, you're coming to agreement and compromise on things. But flexibility is the key to winning all things. Win the battle with flexibility.
For sure. So to recap, those were reset your week, change your environment, add novelty, reconnect with your kids, relationship first, and then adjust your expectations for this time of year.
That wraps up another fantastic podcast. We hope that you are blessed by all of these ideas and tune in the next few weeks here in April, where we're going to give you more helpful tips on how to end the year faithfully, not perfectly. In the meantime, you know we're here for you at thehomeschoolwell.com with our online community. Go check it out and get in on our office hours where you get to meet with us 2-on-1. That's right, Jenny and I answering all your questions. We have an online forum 24/7 with direct messaging to us. Sometimes moms send us videos too through the direct messaging. You can get help from us anytime there. And we have a whole array of evaluations and testing and our new parent proctored exact path testing. You can find all of those online at thehomeschoolwell.com/services. We even do coaching if you just want to meet with us a few times, help you do some transcripts or figure out how you're going to end the school year, anything like that. And if you are a Florida Step Up Scholarship family, you can find all of our services available for direct pay just by searching in the provider section for the Homeschool Well. And that way it comes right out of your scholarship money. But we also do reimbursements if you need that as well.
Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye.